Jai Gurudev, Hari Shivom. Good evening and a warm welcome to this third deep dive conducted by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Vidya Mandir Trust on the topic Ancient Wisdom for Digital Age. Deep Dive is a series of panel discussions conducted every month and delves deep into the various topics that impact future of education. This event stemmed out of the conference conducted by the SSRVM Trust in February 2022 on the future of education, with an objective of probing deeper into specific topics which contribute to the future of education. A warm welcome to our eminent speakers, Shri D.K.Hari ji, Srimati D.K.HemaHari ji. Welcome. Dr.D.K.Hari ji and Dr.D.K.HemaHari ji, husband-wife duo, are founders of BharathGyan, a forerunner in Indian civilization knowledge studies. They started BharathGyan after a stint of 20 years in management and IT, an extensive global travel to explore other cultures. They have so far collated over 500 hours of multimedia content on the Indian civilization and its global connects across over 108 different subjects. They have published 100 books as part of Autobiography of India collection, besides 5 documentary films, 500 short films, and 500 blog articles. Both D.K. Hari ji and HemaHari ji are visiting faculty of Indian Civilization Studies at universities in India and overseas, and they conduct online courses. Over to you, ma'am and sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Namaste to all. Thank you for inviting us to be part of this deep dive. It's a pleasure to see all the faces that are known to us and to talk on a subject that's closer to heart. See, in our minds, there's a dichotomy between the digital era and ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge. People think that there are two ends of spectrum. But when we look at it closely, we find they're close. Not only are they close, they converge. The past converges to the present to create a future for us. That's a very important aspect that all of us should understand. When we say digital era, what are the two things that come to us? Very clearly. One, obviously there's so much of information, data, there are knowledge, such an overload. And it's happening at a very high speed. The speed of data being thrown at us, downloaded, or we be bombarded with so much. So how do we take what we want? How do we discern out of all this is the real challenge now. Because the content, the quantity, and the speed is the issue in digital era.
And what is happening is see, we know about distance and speed, right? So the moment you're doing something at such a hurtling speed, what are you doing? You're bringing distances closer. You're making distances shorter. So the world is becoming a shrinking place. Now it's people are coming closer. Distances are being bridged. But at the same time, what is happening is in the digital era, while the beauty of fundamentally every era that we have had, right, from industrialization to transportation, communication, and so on up to the digital, they've all actually been driven by knowledge. That's the beauty. As the knowledge with mankind is growing, it is spurring mankind to get on to more and more newer and newer paths. But here now we are at a stage where this path has been so fast and it is going so fast that it's bringing us too close at also the risk, because this path is relying not just on human mind, but is also relying on artificial intelligence, intelligence of computers, that we are also making it a more and more standardized, uniform world, which a machine or a computer can understand more than a human mind. So that is somewhat of a risk which we are facing. While it is nice to get information at our fingertips in seconds, this is also the risk that we are taking to be able to get that information. Now, therefore, what is it that we can do to kind of balance this risk and kind of manage the whole situation that we are in at the moment? If you look at it, here we find that on the other end of the spectrum, you find the ancient knowledge, ancient Indian wisdom, ancient Indian knowledge as well as wisdom. And Hari just said, the past converges with the present for the future. You know what the point of convergence is? It is this knowledge. It is the wisdom that actually can converge. Because it is the wisdom that actually tells you that what is applicable then is going to be applicable today and is going to be applicable in the future as well. And the Indian knowledge, if you look at it, the base for this, whatever branch you take, ultimately converges to the point of dharma. And what is actually dharma? In a very, very simplistic form, it is that which you bear, that which you wear, that which you dharan, dharma, dhar. So that which you bear as your character, as your trait, as a human being. And the trait that not just human being has, but there is a dharma for the universe, which is, every entity in this universe has a dharma, right from the sun, which is to shine, to the earth, which is to go around the sun, to all of us who are living on this earth. And that is to be in sync, to be in harmony, SYNK, sync, and to be in harmony and to work in harmony with each other. And therefore, the entire dharma of the universe is thus sustained. And if you look at Indian wisdom, Indian knowledge systems, every aspect of system, whether you look at the knowledge which has been applied in industry, Indian practice of industry, Indian practice of trade, Indian practice of commerce, Indian practice of societal organization, working, culture, art, everything demonstrates this aspect of dharma. In each and everything, the point of highlight you will find is how it dovetails with dharma, the principles of dharma. And that is something which we will have to rely on now to help us in this digital age where we are getting this information overload, where there is so much speed, where there is loss of there is loss of distinction. And everything is becoming standardized and global. So that aspect, how do you overcome is because every region has to be in sync with the location that it is in, the people that live there, the kind of climate. So its place in this entire universe defines the dharma of every culture. And that has to be maintained. So how do you bring this back?
So when you say dharma, she said two things. One is dharma means character. And how does your character come out? In relationship with each other. That's a key fact. So relationship is an important aspect to bring out your character, which is what the concept of dharma is. When you see that, your relationship with the digital world, your relationship with our traditional knowledge, and bringing them both together, that aspect comes out when you want to be dharmic. And when is that possible? When one is grounded. And why is this being grounded all the more important for us now? Is because with the digital world, we're going more insular. We are losing touch with everything around us. Because everything is available in our digital instruments, so we are losing touch. So how do we get back? The connectedness is the point. That is where ancient wisdom helps us in a big way. That helps realize, and that is when we get back to the character of being a human. And that character comes out when you're connected with everybody and every happening around you. That is when we can really be dharmic. And where does this take you? Dharma is not unrelated to science. Dharma is because there's an interpersonal relationship between you and your vijnana, jnana, knowledge, vijnana, deep dive knowledge. That is science, what we call. So there's a connectedness between the two. And it's only when you get that awareness, and when we are in synchronization with it, that in sync, S-Y and C, sync with it, then we can float and come through. If we are not in S-Y and C sync, what happens? We're going to S-I-N-K sync. So being aware, being in synchronization with our relationships, our dharma, our connectedness, our basic human character, and understanding where we are in it, in our ancient wisdoms, the knowledge that has come down to us to the parampara, beyond generations. Parampara, the word itself means parampara. So that come down to us generation after generation after generation. That is when we get to live within ourselves what we are here to do and be associated with. Then we get to that. And this is what we have in BharathGyan as a personal journey, being able to walk the path and understand this to share with all. And it's been a wonderful journey. And our association with the art of living for well over 15 years has been an association that we really cherished. And each moment of it is so wonderful to be grounded, to be in dharma, to be in relationship with each other, with our traditional knowledge, and release the beauty of all of this. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity
Thank you.
in this deep dive program.